Good morning, Cedar Lane. Just come on in, find a seat, sit with your friends. Oh, sit with someone new. How about that? Whoa, that's something. I dare you to sit with someone new. Welcome, good morning, and welcome to Cedar Lane. Whether you are here in person or just joining us from home, we are so happy to be together with you in this sacred time of worship, connection, and renewal. Hey, in the lobby. How y'all doing? You're invited to come in here or sit quietly out there. I'm the Reverend Ali K.C. Bell. My pronouns are he and they, and I am honored to welcome you into this beloved community, a place where we remind one another that we do not journey alone. I'm a trans Black man in my late 40s with graying hair. I have on a gray suit with a purple shirt and a purple paisley tie because I love purple. I have on black glasses. At Cedar Lane, we strive to embody a love that is bold and inclusive, creating a space where everyone, regardless of background, beliefs, sexual orientation, gender identity, disability, or documentation status, even life experiences, is truly and wholly welcome. Here, your story matters. Your presence enriches us. If you are new or still feeling a little newish, we'd love to connect with you. And if you're here in person, we invite you to raise your hand so we can welcome you. Welcome. And if you didn't raise your hand because you didn't know what was going to happen, welcome. If you're online, please let us know in the chat that you're there so you can be welcomed online. And after the service, we invite you to join us. If you're new or feeling newish, we're going to have a newcomer circle. It'll be in the library. It's on this side of the building. Or you can also join us in the fellowship hall for conversation and refreshments. If you're new, feel free to pick up a yellow mug if you're in the fellowship hall, because at Cedar Lane, yellow means hello. And if you pick up a white mug, it means say hello. That's right. That means we talk to people we don't know. It's okay. We all are expecting it now. As we enter worship today, let us receive the blessings of faith in ourselves, in one another, and in the greater rhythms of life. May the relationships we nurture here remind us that we do not have to do it all alone. May the quiet moments help us to hear the still, small voice within. And may the music we sing together hold us in the restorative rhythms of the world. May the words spoken today remind us that our voices truly do matter, no matter what anyone else tries to tell us. They are meant to be believed and shared. And so now, in the spirit of love and connection, I invite you to greet your neighbor with a warm hello. And if you're online, greet one another in the chat.
We'll let the piano go. There we go, fade up. So, our prelude this morning will be participatory, so I'll sing it with you. And we'll have, the choir is going to be part of a round with you. So I'm going to have you start out. Once we'll learn the tune and sing it twice. It's by a very good friend of mine, Elizabeth Alexander, who's a great UU composer who lives in St. Paul, Minnesota. And the song goes like this. Let's make sure the slide is up beautifully. So, and Jasmin can give me a pitch. So I'll start out with the choir, and we'll hear it and then sing it the second time. As we share what we have with each other, let us sing out joyfully. May abundance lead to gratitude, then generosity. That last word is generosity. Sorry, I messed that up. Here we go. Let's sing it one more time. And as we share what we have with each other, let us sing out joyfully. May abundance lead to gratitude, then to generosity. One more time, just together. As we share what we have with each other, let us sing out joyfully. May abundance lead to gratitude, then to generosity. Now the congregation. As we share what we have with each other, let us sing out joyfully. May abundance lead to gratitude, then to generosity. Once more. As we share what we have with each other, let us sing out joyfully. May abundance lead to gratitude, then abundance lead to gratitude, then to
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Michael. Choir and congregation, wow, that's beautiful. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, and welcome to Cedar Lane. I'm Abhi Janamanchi, he and him, one of the ministers serving this religious community. Visually, I am an Indian male in his 50s, and with dark hair and a graying mustache, which is getting gray and grayer.
No comment.
Today I'm wearing a cream shirt and brown pants and a cream vest with a red pattern and a flaming chalice. These words draw us in from my colleague, the Reverend Gretchen Haley. The shadowed silhouettes of two people holding hands together to form a heart. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here.
We'll make a space for it, give it its due time, and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains not yet.
We promise no magic, no making it all better, but offer only this circle of trust.
This human community that remembers, though imperfectly.
That sings and prays, though sometimes awkwardly.
This gathering that loves, though not yet enough.
We're still practicing. After all, still learning, still in need of help and partners.
Still becoming able to receive all this beauty and all these gifts we each bring.
Come, let us worship together.
Hello. I'm David Devlin Foltz. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the worship associate for today's service. I'm a white, cisgender, heterosexual man in my late 60s. I'm wearing black pants and a red sweater. I have brown hair and a mostly gray beard, and I wear glasses. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice as a symbol of our shared faith and community. As the Geis-Kressler family comes forward in all their beauty, I invite you to share in the chat where you're lighting your chalice. If you're joining us online, please rise in body and or in spirit and join me in the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice as a beacon of hope, a steadfast flame we kindle and protect in these challenging times. We light this chalice with compassion, holding close the truth that love and justice must guide us in a world too often fractured by division and discord. We light this chalice with commitment, knowing that the work of healing and repair is ours to do together. May we find rest, renewal, and the hope we need to nurture ourselves and one another. May our chalice remind us of the people we are called to be and the difference we can make in the world together. Please remain as you are, risen in body or in spirit, to sing, "Come Sing a Song with Me."
Hope is
That one always chokes me up. As we enter this sacred time of sharing our joys and sorrows, let us pause, take a deep breath, and ground ourselves in the present moment. With open hearts, we welcome the fullness of human experience, joy, grief, struggle, and hope, knowing that in this community, no one journeys alone. Within our Cedar Lane community, we send healing wishes to Dottie Mara, who reports that she had a bit of a spill, which has resulted in her fracturing her hip and ankle. She has had surgery at Suburban Hospital and will be going to the Hebrew home in Rockville for rehab. We hold in our hearts Greg and Barbara Falsino, together with their grown children, Sarah and Adam. They mourn the loss of Greg's mother, Nancy, on February 25th. Nancy died in her home in Florida after a very long struggle with multiple sclerosis. There will be a memorial service for Cedar Lane member Paulette Skalka today at 3 p.m. in the sanctuary. Reverend Ali's son, Everett Dunham, celebrated his 18th birthday yesterday. Let's join Everett's family in celebrating this milestone. And today we celebrate a success of AIM, Action in Montgomery. On Tuesday, February 25th, the Montgomery County Council unanimously voted to pass the new Building Energy Performance Standards law. This new law will reduce climate pollution and improve our community's health by moving buildings towards energy efficiency and electrification. AIM has been advocating for this statute on the county and state level. Our nitrogen dioxide testing in apartments has shown how dangerous natural gas is for health and safety, and you may recall the terrible explosion just a couple of years ago that killed many. Cedar Lane played a role in the research to support this law as we encouraged members with gas stoves to have them tested and have our kitchen's stove tested as well. On a more personal note, Betsy Devlin Foltz and I are delighted to announce the arrival of our first grandchild, Ms. Zoe Hannah Baseman Foltz, this past Tuesday. Mother Leslie Baseman and our son, Sebi Devlin Foltz, are joyful and, yes, tired. We hold in love all those who are impacted by injustice, oppression, misrule, and uncertainty. We extend our hearts to federal workers and contractors, undocumented immigrants, trans and non-binary individuals, women, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, people with disabilities, and all who hold multiple marginalized identities. May they find safety, dignity, and support. We also hold in our hearts all those suffering due to the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine. We pray for a lasting ceasefire in Gaza, the release of all captives, and the swift delivery of humanitarian aid to those in peril. May peace take root where war now rages. As we enter into silence together, you are invited to rise in body or spirit and speak the names of loved ones you hold in remembrance, or share their names in the chat. And now we invite you to participate in a ritual of connection to honor the moments that touch your life. To the side, there's a table filled and a bowl filled with stones waiting to be chosen. As you lift a stone and place it in the water nearby, let it symbolize your joys, remembrances, burdens, or prayers of love and healing. May the ripples that please come forward. May the ripples these stones create remind us that our actions, our grief, our joy, and our love extend far beyond ourselves. As the ripples spread outward, so too does our care and compassion in the world. Please come forward.
Let us center ourselves now for this time, inviting our mind, body, and spirit into this space, made sacred by our presence and the presence of the Holy, in which we live, move, breathe, and have our being. Let us settle into this sacred space, where love connects us beyond time, distance, or circumstance. Together, let us take a deep breath, feeling the steady rhythm of life moving through us. Breathing in through our nose and breathing out through our mouth. Breathing in, we welcome peace. Breathing out, we release fear. Breathing in, we welcome love. Breathing out, we let go of all that weighs us down. Breathing in, we inhale peace. Breathing out, we exhale love. We hold in our hearts all who are hurting, those facing illness, loss, and uncertainty. May they feel the warmth of love surrounding them, the strength of community holding them, the quiet assurance that they are not alone. We rejoice in the birth of new life, in moments of renewal and joy that remind us again and again that love and hope or born anew. We extend our compassion to all who are impacted by justice, by injustice, oppression, and uncertainty. Those whose dignity is denied, whose safety is threatened, whose voices are silenced. May they find refuge, resilience, and the support of compassionate hearts. And we lift up all who suffer in the wake of war and violence. May justice and mercy guide the hands of those in power so peace may take root in places torn apart by conflict. May healing flow where harm has been done. In this moment of shared presence, we offer a blessing of loving kindness from the Hindu tradition. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. May all beings be happy. Sarve santu niramayah. May all beings be free from suffering. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. May all see what is good and beautiful. Na kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. May no one know sorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace.
As we gather in this sacred space, we are called to give joyfully, boldly, and with purpose. Our offering is more than financial support. It is a declaration of love, faith, and commitment to this beloved community. Through our collective generosity, Cedar Lane remains a place where love takes action, justice is pursued, and all are truly welcome. Today, we continue our 2025-2026 annual fund campaign, a time when we come together to sustain and strengthen Cedar Lane for the year ahead. Nearly 70% of our budget comes from financial pledges. I'll just let that sit for a second. Ensuring that we can offer inspiring worship, transformative faith formation, compassionate pastoral care, and bold social justice work that reaches beyond our walls. In uncertain times, places like Cedar Lane matter more than ever, places where we build connection, resilience, and hope, where we seek justice, deepen our faith, and care for one another. Our goal is to raise $950,000, and we are striving for 100% participation because every pledge at any level truly does matter. If you've already pledged, thank you. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, we invite you to be a part of this collective act of faith and also resistance. If you're able, consider increasing your pledge by just 10%, becoming a sustaining monthly donor. If that's not possible, pledge what you can, ideally at least what you gave last year. Let your generosity be a gift for the person beside you, a gift for those who have yet to come through our doors, for the communities beyond these walls that our ministry touches, the gift that you are already receiving now. If finances are a challenge, please reach out to me or to Reverend Abhi, and we will make it work. But if you have the resources, now more than ever is the time to give generously. Now is the time to invest in the future of Cedar Lane, because our budget isn't just numbers. It is the foundation of a congregation committed to transformative justice and love. We also extend our generosity this morning to our Share the Plate recipient, Action in Montgomery, a multiracial, multi-faith grassroots organization dedicated to advancing social justice in Montgomery County. You heard earlier in the joys and sorrows some of the work that they've already done. AIM works tirelessly for affordable housing, equitable education, and economic opportunity for all residents, ensuring that marginalized communities have a voice in shaping policies that impact their lives. By supporting AIM, we extend our impact beyond these walls, helping to create a more compassionate and just world. And we know that we need that now. So whether you make a one-time gift today, contribute to the Share the Plate partner, or renew your pledge to sustain Cedar Lane, your generosity fuels our work and makes a tangible difference. Every gift, large or small, is a vote for the beloved community that we wish to create together. Every gift is important and needed. The offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Thank you for that beautiful song. My God. Good morning. My name is Matthew Kressler. My pronouns are he and him. I am a middle-aged cis white man with freckles, brown hair, and a beard that proves that I was once a redhead. And I'm wearing black pants, a white shirt, and a dark gray blazer. Cedar Lane has been a spiritual home for me, my wife, and our 3 kiddos, who you saw earlier in service, for about a year and a half now. When we moved to Maryland from South Carolina, we made finding our new UU community a top priority. And what surprised my wife and I was that we had so many options, which was not something we were used to. So we got to not just go church shopping, we got to go UU church shopping, which was special indeed. What were we looking for in a UU congregation? A strong commitment to social justice was a given, but that basically describes just about any UU community, at least on paper. So what else? We were looking for a truly multi-generational community with a robust religious education program. And that's actually what put Cedar Lane at the top of the list. That was what got us in the door for that first service. But I have to say that a big thing that got me personally to stay was something that I never expected to find in a UU church. Ritual. In the first few services we attended, and actually I was really happy that service today testified to that. In the first few services that we attended, all these UUs were lining up and they were blessing rocks and they were pouring water in bowls and they were putting beads in bowls. We were like gathering in big circles and holding hands with each other. We were standing up and greeting our neighbors with signs of peace. This was one reason why, if you think back to that UU shopping list we had, we never saw another UU church on that list. That's one of the reasons why we stayed here from that first time. You see, for me, I'm a Catholic Unitarian. I'm a somehow still stubbornly self-identifying Catholic Unitarian. And to be honest, that's the one thing that tended to be missing for me as far as most UU churches went. A sense of spiritual nourishment. I always got social justice, I always got great religious education, but the spiritual nourishment was a piece that was often missing for me. And what set Cedar Lane apart for me was its rich spiritual life, one that seemed to be rooted in an authentically diverse, multi-religious, and multicultural community. This seems to me to be something pretty singular and special, and something worth supporting. So as I don't need to tell you this, as you already know, we've just launched our annual fund campaign. And so if you're going to ask me why I give to Cedar Lane monthly, it's because I value those 3 things. I value our commitment to social justice, to the education and moral formation of our children, and to the spiritual nourishment of me as an individual, of my family, and of our entire congregation. But given our present political circumstances, I think it's also worth asking another question. Why do I give to Cedar Lane now? Why do I contribute to this community in this particular moment? I give to Cedar Lane my presence, my participation, and yes, my financial support, because now, more than ever, it is a matter of moral and political urgency. So with that in mind, I wanted to end my little testimonial with a quote from Timothy Snyder's On Tyranny. For those of you who are familiar with it, this is a piece of Lesson 15, Contribute to Good Causes. Be active in organizations, political or not, that express your own view of life. It is gratifying to know that whatever the course of events, you are helping others to do good. many of us can afford to support some part of the vast network of charities that one of our former presidents called 1,000 points of light. Those points of light are best seen like stars at dusk against a darkening sky. Sharing in an undertaking teaches us that we can trust people beyond our narrow circle of friends and families, and helps us to recognize authorities from whom we can learn. The capacity for trust and learning can make life seem less chaotic and mysterious, and democratic politics more plausible and attractive. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the choir, Jasmin, Michael. Wow, for that beautiful rendition of How Can I Keep From Singing? And I know it's meaningful for both of you. That was part of their wedding, I found out. Thank you, Matt, for that powerful testimony. I mean, you just made the need for my reflection redundant, which is pretty good. But, you know, we still have a little time, and this is my first Sunday back from sabbatical, so I guess I will. How can I keep from speaking? And, you know, you really made the case for what What is the purpose of a religious community? Especially in times like these, and that wonderful quote from historian Timothy Snyder, I think pretty much summarizes why we need to be engaged and supporting communities like Cedar Lane. So thank you for showing up today. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, let's give ourselves a big round for being here. Because these are unprecedented and uncertain times we find ourselves in. We feel it in the volatility of our politics, in the exhaustion of our planet, in the anxiety that lingers in our daily lives. Division runs deep within our government, between communities, within our own families. There is no clear roadmap forward. And yet, some things are clear. The choices being made right now are already impacting lives, some in this very congregation. And in moments like these, trust, which is the theme of this month, I don't know who picked it, and coming back to that, I thought, okay, here we go. In times like these, trust can feel impossible. Trust in our leaders, our government, our institutions, even in one another. Trust that what we do, how we show up, what we give will make a difference. If you consider yourself a practicing Unitarian Universalist, guided by our core values and our principles, then you may find yourself wrestling with your faith. Faith in the possibility of goodness, faith in humanity, faith that hope is still worth holding on to. So we ask, who do we trust? Who do we listen to? Who's offering wisdom and who's simply selling something? Who is committed to the common good and who is out to get what they can for themselves and their cronies? Growing up Hindu Unitarian, I was taught to see the inherent divinity and goodness in all people. But I've also learned going through life that the world is not always kind, that people are not always trustworthy. I've given to those who may have used my help differently than I intended. I have lent money that was never repaid. I have bought things I didn't need simply because someone asked me politely. Do I regret it? No. Call it foolishness, call it naivete. I have come to understand that my role is not to judge the struggles of others. My role is not to judge the struggles of others, but it is to question those who profit from division, who choose discord over healing, who would rather watch the world unravel than take part in its rebuilding. My faith in humanity is tempered by my Unitarian Universalist faith, a faith that questions unchecked power, that refuses to accept authority simply because it is handed down. You see, both Unitarianism and Universalism were born out of resistance, out of the belief that truth is not dictated by institutions or sacred texts or people in power, but discovered through conscience and community. My theology tells me that every person is worthy, has worthiness and dignity, that every person is worthy of love and compassion, even those I do not trust, even those who exploit others, even those who disregard the suffering of others. But inherent worthiness and dignity do not mean inherent trustworthiness. You see, faith in humanity does not mean blind faith in individuals. It does not mean ignoring harm. So my faith also calls me to believe in people's inherent goodness, but it does not require me to keep my heart open to those who intentionally cause harm. When someone proves to be dishonest, manipulative, or abusive, I will set boundaries. We will set boundaries, won't we? I will protect myself and those around me. We will protect ourselves and those around us. Because love does not mean tolerating harm. Faith does not mean allowing ourselves to be exploited. So, do I have too much faith in the goodness of others? No. I have just enough. You see, I'm not naive. I see the world as it is, just as you do. And still, I choose to embrace it. Choose to hold life in my hands. Not a polished, perfect version, but life in all its rawness, its uncertainty, its grief. But I've never done this alone. I have always been held by family, by friends, by a community, by a web of people who carried me when I couldn't carry myself. I have learned again and again that we are not meant to do this alone. Because what do we have in this world except each other? We are bound together in ways we cannot escape, intertwined, interdependent, leaning on one another for survival. It is both a painful truth, we cannot do this alone, and a liberating truth, we don't have to. We are in this together. And that is why we show up, why we gather in the sanctuary on Sundays, in the fellowship hall on Wednesdays, in living rooms, on Zoom screens, in moments of joy and sorrow. And we gather more than to just share space. We gather to share ourselves, our struggles and our strengths, our hopes and our heartbreaks, our fears and our dreams. We come because this is a place where our humanity is not only welcomed, but seen. A place where compassion is not just encouraged, but expected. We come seeking connection because at our core, we do have faith in one another. My faith tells me that what will save us, what will keep us from breaking apart in fear or despair is not certainty, but the power of people who hold fast to love. People who choose again and again to keep faith in communities like this, where growth is valued over perfection, where both our beauty and our flaws are seen as part of the same whole that teach us how to be more fully human and humane. Communities that hold up a mirror, inviting us to reckon with our shortcomings, celebrate our gifts, and find healing together. Communities like this shaped by imperfect, messy, beautiful, wounded, quirky, and healing people. You. People who choose again and again to show up for one another, who keep faith in one another, who are hopeful even when the path ahead is unclear. I'm reminded of what Czech president and playwright Václav Havel once said. Hope is definitely not the same thing as optimism. It is not the conviction that something will turn out well, but the certainty that something makes sense regardless of how it turns out. Keeping faith, too, is not optimism that everything will turn out well, but the conviction that something makes sense regardless of the outcome. Keeping faith is about generosity, showing up and giving of ourselves, not because we have guarantees, but because we have faith in what is possible. Tibetan Buddhist teacher Pema Chodron reminds us, a lot of us are just running around in circles pretending there is ground where there actually isn't any. But if we could learn to not be afraid of groundlessness, not be afraid of insecurity and uncertainty, it will call on an inner strength that would allow us to be open and free and loving and compassionate in any situation. So keeping faith means embracing uncertainty, holding on to and living in the groundlessness, and still choosing love together, still showing up for justice together, still believing in the possibility of something better together. So what if, instead of grasping for certainty, we leaned into the unknown? What if, instead of fearing scarcity, we practiced abundance? You see, this congregation, this community of faith and action exists because of those who came before us and those who continue to show up now. It was built by people who, despite doubt and uncertainty, chose to keep faith. And because of them, we are here now, growing, evolving, and becoming an ever more dynamic and diverse religious community. Our worship and music create spaces for reflection, renewal, and inspiration. Our social justice ministry is dedicated to building a more just world. Our religious education program fosters curiosity, spiritual deepening, and lifelong learning. Our pastoral ministry provides care, support, and presence through life's joys, sorrows, and transitions. This congregation does all this. But this congregation, any congregation, is not for everyone. You see, not every person who comes through our doors will stay. But for those who do, this place matters. For those who have been here for decades, this is home. For families and children, this is where values are shaped and nurtured. For those facing uncertainty and hardship, this is where they find comfort and support. For those joining us online each Sunday, this is where they find connection in a disconnected world. In times like these, when the world feels chaotic, the need for communities like these, like ours, and ministry is urgent and unending. And that's why in recent years we've been intentional about strengthening our connections and deepening our sense of community. Our Welcome Wednesday gatherings and our Parents' Night Out are about more than just events. They are about connection. They are about sharing meals, telling stories, and creating spaces to show up for one another in the fullness of who we are. Our Sunday services weave together music, wisdom, and ritual. Indeed, we are a ritual congregation from diverse traditions, creating a pluralistic and multicultural space for reflection, renewal, and connection in a world that often feels overwhelming. Our soul circles provide a place for deep listening, honest reflection, and meaningful connection. Our social justice ministry remains deeply engaged, advocating for immigrant rights, LGBTQ+ rights, gender justice, climate justice, voting rights, and something as fundamental as the right to read freely. In the last 5 years alone, we have provided tens of thousands of pounds of food and essential supplies to those in need and contributed thousands of dollars through our Share the Plate program to support organizations working for justice, equity, and peace. But this congregation is not just about what happens within these walls. It is about how we live our values beyond them, how we turn love into action, and how we embody justice in the world. And friends, we must sustain it, because what we do here together matters. Keeping faith in this place, in this community, in this vision and mission matters. My heart is moved, wrote the great American poet Adrienne Rich. My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who age after age, perversely with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. You know, she wrote this many decades ago, and it has always been a kind of prayer for me. Words I hold close to my heart, softening over time as if they have seeped into my skin and into the marrow of my bones. They remind me that I'm not alone, even when I feel alone, whether because of some personal struggle or loss or fear, when much has been destroyed. They remind me that I'm not alone when I feel alone and desperate in the face of larger public devastations, such as what we have been witnessing in recent weeks. They remind me that despair is a privilege, that to bow my head and look away is a choice. They remind me it is a choice to live within a different story, which is to say, inside a different faith, one that calls me out, one that calls me in to love and struggle once again. They remind me that people have been struggling for a long, long time against destruction, against devastation, against disappointment and despair, against the desecration of the planet and each other, against devastations of the spirit and the body politic. They remind me that people have been grieving for a long, long time, and for generations. Those who came before us threw in their lots again and again, age after age, for hope, for compassion, for justice, for freedom, for dignity, for civil rights and human rights. They came together, ordinary people with no extraordinary power, to reconstitute the world. This is the history we inherit. This is the history we are called to carry forward. This is the work we sign on to, not as an obligation, but as an act of love, to cast our lot with those who refuse to give up, to choose hope over despair, to build a world that is just, that is kind, that is whole. We may not know what tomorrow brings, but we do know what we are building here. We are building a place where love works. We are building a place where justice is real. We are building a place where we show up for one another time and again because we have faith in something greater than ourselves. And we do not do this work alone. And that, my friends, is what it means to keep faith. Next year, Cedar Lane celebrates 75 years. A legacy of resilience, action, and hope in Montgomery County. 75 years of showing up for justice, for civil rights, gender equality, reproductive freedom, and marriage equality. 75 years of weathering wars, recessions, and a global pandemic, of adapting, enduring, and remaining a place of faith, courage, and transformation. Now it is our turn to carry this legacy forward, to invest in Cedar Lane's future, to sustain the work that transforms life, to ensure Cedar Lane remains a sanctuary of love, compassion, and justice, not just for us, but for those who will come after us. Now is our moment. Yes, these are unprecedented and uncertain times, but they are also times of incredible possibility. So let us rise to meet them together. Amen. Please rise together to sing Woyaya.
good to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah. In worship, announcements aren't just updates.
Are they just updates or more than just updates?
They are not just updates.
Good.
Yep. They are a call to connect, to grow, and to live our values. Because faith is not just what we believe. It is what we do. It comes alive when we show up for one another, when we labor for justice, and when we commit ourselves to ongoing work of building a beloved community with intention, with conviction, and with courage.
Preach it, Reverend Ali.
Thank you.
Keeping faith means finding a spiritual home where you can grow and belong. So if you are new or feeling new or considering membership, please join us for conversation and connection at the Newcomer Circle after the service in the library. And if you're ready to make Cedar Lane your spiritual home, we welcome you to sign the membership book today.
In the library.
In the library.
Yes. On and in these uncertain times, keeping faith calls us to witness. Join the national call for repentance and healing on Ash Wednesday. For all of us who don't know when that is, it's March 5th at 11 at St. Mark's Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C. Faith leaders, including Bishop William Barber, will lead us in prayer, lament, and moral resistance as we call our nation to repentance from injustice, corruption, and oppression. Lord knows we need to.
Amen. Keeping faith means affirming the dignity of every person. We invite you to visit the awesome Authentic Selves, a powerful photo exhibit celebrating transgender and non-binary lives on display from March 2nd to the 31st in the Fellowship Hall and the Family Lounge downstairs. And join us for the opening reception on Friday, March 7th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And if you're able, sign up for food and beverages. The link is in the e-news.
It is. And I'm super excited about that. And also, keeping faith means celebrating diverse traditions and cultures. This is really cool. Join us for a special performance by Ming's Dance Troupe next Sunday, that's March 9th, at noon in the Chalice House. You do not want to miss this. All ages are welcome, and please bring finger food to share.
And keeping faith means being in solidarity with those who are vulnerable. Join us at the Immigrant Justice Ally Training and Organizing next Sunday, March 9th at 3 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall and online to learn how we can support immigrants through rights education, family preparedness, bystander intervention, and collective action. For more details, you can connect with Diane Seifert, who will be in the Fellowship Hall after the service and also help you sign up.
I don't know about you all, but I'm really excited about that because sometimes bystander intervention can be a little hairy. You don't know what to do. So I think if we start practicing now, going and learning and practicing, we can get better at it.
And we close our time together with these words inspired from the poet Wendell Berry's piece of Wild Things. Let us remember we're not alone, even when uncertainty weighs heavy and fear lingers in the quiet hours of the night. Let us find solace in the steady rhythm of the earth, in the whisper of the trees, in the stillness of water that holds the sky. Let us, like the wild things, pause, ceasing for a moment to burden our lives with forethoughts of grief, and instead rest in the grace of what is, this breath, this heartbeat, this moment of being held in love. Let us keep faith, not because we know the outcome, but because we believe in the possibility of something better. And as we go forth, let us be the ones who choose hope over despair, love over fear, action over apathy. And for a time, let us rest in the grace of the world and be free. May it be so.